I'm back. So I was out for a couple of months due to the heat. We had kind of a rough start here in the greater Phoenix metropolitan region. We had temperatures in the 100 teens as usual, like back in June. So I took a little time off. You know, you just can't ride when it's 115 or 117 degrees in the middle of the day. It's just not feasible to ride. I mean, I'm not going to ride at 4 a.m. It's a little ridiculous. So, but we've had kind of a cooling off period here the last few weeks, and we have had a monsoon season, so it's been kind of nice. Temperatures are definitely a lot more moderate. We're getting into the upper 90s and low hundreds. We might hit like 102 today. So it's definitely at a point where I can get back out there a little bit more. So happy to do that. So coming from Phoenix and you want to head west, a good place is Robbins Butte, and that's where I went today. So get on the I-10 and just head back out west through Buckeye, and you'll see in the video I go through the downtown area of Buckeye, which is on the extreme western edge of the county and of the Phoenix metropolitan region. Nothing really noteworthy in the town of Buckeye. It's kind of a growing community. There's a lot of subdivisions out there. Get on the 85 south, which is the state highway, and as soon as you cross the Gila River, and you can see all that green right there in the middle of the desert, that's going to indicate that there's a river corridor, so a lot of lush vegetation. You pull in here on the first right into the Robbins Butte Game Preserve, and you just follow the trail all the way in. There really isn't a staging area, so just kind of follow your nose all the way on through. And I really like this area. I've been here a couple of times this year. The Gila River corridor, as you can see, it skirts the northern boundary of the actual trail that I ride often. Features diverse habitats that draw large populations of resident and migratory wildlife to the area. You'll see some pheasants in the video, a couple little critters along the trail. You'll see more wildlife out here. You'll see more amphibians, reptiles, different birds, and then I think there was a ringtail in the video today, so let's check it out. So this is just getting into the Buckeye city limits. Honestly, it's just a typical small town that has grown only due to urban sprawl. Maricopa County is an excellent example of how urban sprawl just kind of envelops an entire region. This place has grown so exponentially since the 90s, and this is one of those communities where it's really evident. So developers come in, they stamp out a few thousand homes in a short amount of time, they go on market and they sell at above market rate. And the community, the surrounding community, has difficulty keeping up. I just don't, I don't see parks, city centers, cafes, social areas. There's a couple little dive bars. There's a biker place right there. I guess they get together. That's good. But I just don't see the supporting infrastructure to support these huge communities like that. Goodyear's doing a little better. Chandler and Gilbert, of course, are doing really good, but the outlying areas like this Buckeye here is not. Doesn't seem to be keeping pace. Of course, I haven't explored that much in Buckeye. This is getting on MC 85, or off of MC 85 and onto Highway 85. And I'm about to head south, and here I am southbound now on 85. I'll take this down about 3 miles, and then as soon as I cross the bridge over the Gila River, then that next right will be the turn into Robbins Butte. This 85 is how I get over to the 8, which then takes me over to San Diego. It's 4.5 hours. That's one of the nice things about living in Phoenix. It's only 4.5 hours to 5 depending on traffic, but I've done it in 4.5 to San Diego. So it's nice to escape for a weekend, especially if you got like a long weekend, you can go to San Diego. But this 85 is how I get up. I hook up to the 8. As far as having the KLR on the highway, you can see I'm in the 80s here. So I'll cruise around 80 miles per hour. It's no problem on the KLR. It's definitely big enough to handle it. And the vibrations, the dampeners have really helped for the 2022 model. So I have no problems cruising between 75 and 80. I don't like to do 85, but as you can see, it's not a problem to hit and maintain 80 on the KLR. You can definitely tell that I'm passing by a river corridor as the thick vegetation starts to increase on the side of the road. Here I just crossed the Gila River, and there's the entrance right on the right. Not that big of a slowdown area, but the entrance is right here. It looks like they recently paved it because I don't remember this new tarmac right here at the entrance to Robbins Butte. This was all dirt previously. As soon as I got onto the road, I noticed that there was a lot of loose gravel. So once again, not a problem, but also more sand, more deep sand. I guess we used to call it, back when I was in the Mojave Desert at Fort Irwin, we called it moon dust. There was actually a couple of areas, especially early on the road here, or in the entrance portion, where I hit some moon dust, so I had to slow it down. You hit the moon dust at 35 miles per hour, 40 miles per hour, that will scare you straight. And I had at least one event this morning, so that's why I really took it easy, especially through the washes. Like if you hit a wash, you'll really notice that the sand is deep, and it's unsuspecting. I mean, you wouldn't suspect it because it looks like, you know, a light layer, but then when that front tire, especially if you don't have the 80/20s or the more aggressive knobby style tires like the Kenda K270s, then you're going to have some problems. I've got largely road tires here. These are a 50-50 mix, the Dunlops that came with the bike. But the vegetative cover is pretty thick, especially for this trip. We've had, like I said earlier, we've had a decent monsoon season. So the ground was pretty saturated in July. Surprising, but that's why you're seeing such heavy vegetative cover. It's a diverse mixture of salt cedar thicket, willows, and then cattails. Not really in this video because I didn't go to the river bottom, but those are more on the river bottom. The mature mesquite on the river terrace, which this is kind of considered river terrace, saltbush, and then shrub size mesquite. So you see just a major combination of different shrubs and salt bushes. The upland desert area, which is where this is, and I'll approach an upland desert area, they're dominated by creosote bush and wiper sage. This is all a retired agricultural land, and it is being restored to more of a native vegetative community. That's why it is maintained. Look at this sand right here. That's why it is maintained by the Arizona Fish and Game, because their intent is to restore it to a fully native vegetative community. And then so that will produce food and then cover crops for wildlife, to bring the wildlife in. So you can see right here, it's especially pretty thick. A lot of birds, a lot of pheasants. There was a lot out today. In addition to the Gila River, ponds and drinkers provide a well-distributed system of water for wildlife. So the combination of desert, upland, agricultural, and relic riparian habitats attract a variety of wildlife species. And then, of course, reptiles are common. Everybody knows about the rattlesnakes. I think most people know about Gila monsters. And there's a wide variety of other reptiles, such as the Sonoran Desert toad, Couch's spadefoot, desert spiny lizard, the desert horned lizard, sidewinder, speckled, and diamond-backed rattlesnakes. And then there's the long-nosed snakes, and then, of course, king snakes as well. Not of course, but king snakes are out there. Birds, this is a nice area right here with the saguaro cacti. I really like this. But you can see from the runoff from the monsoon, a lot of these trails in certain areas are broken off, especially as you approach a wash. Gambel's quail, resident songbirds include the black and the sage phoebes, ash-throated flycatcher, loggerhead shrike, cactus wrens, black-tailed gnatcatcher, crystal thrasher, Albert's towhee, and the black-throated sparrow. So bird diversity is really amazing here. Seems like in the early morning and then at dusk are the best times. So I didn't catch a lot in this video, but I'll be back. I'm probably going to have one video where I just actually go out to try to observe wildlife, and I'll try to post that.